I love the name Sliverax. Hey folks, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another episode here at Gideon's Tactical. I'm your host Aaron, and it's been a while. We have not reviewed a Spyderco knife in quite a while, but I am excited today to introduce you to the Spyderco Sliverax, the slim axe feeling blade. That's what we're going to be looking at here today. It's just been a while. You know, Spyderco really hasn't released anything aside from this blade that's really made me like, oh my gosh, I got to invest my money and get that to use in my systems and show you guys here at the channel. But when I began to just break down, I just look at all of Spyderco's, you know, recent offerings. This one just really stood out to me. Compression lock, carbon fiber G10 overmold with each other, S30V steel, flipper as well as eye hole. I mean, there's just a lot going on the Sliverax, and then the name, you know, it's like, it's a sliver, but it's an axe. How well will that perform? Will it axe through cardboard? Will it axe through materials? We're gonna look at all that today, look at pros and cons, what this has to good going for it, what it maybe doesn't have good going for it, and really break it down for you so you can decide if the Spyderco Sliverax is going to be a blade that's going to really perform well in your EDC, or if you're like, yeah, dude, I got 5 knives that can do the exact same thing. I hope to answer that question today in this video. So let's go ahead, break the Sliverax down and see what it can do. Well, we're gonna keep rolling with this video and do it on the fly. I'm literally in a parking lot in the back of the car, doing a little run and gun part of the review. That's what you got to do when you have babies and work and everything else in life. So let's see how this turns out. So if you maybe hear a little bit of car noise and that type of thing, we'll just see kind of what happens here. So let's go ahead and hit deployment lockup because it's a little bit different. Spyderco is not known for usually doing flippers. They do have some. I like flippers. I don't have anything against them. I also love Spyderco holes. I like the hole here, the thumb hole, whatever you want to call it. Deployment, super awesome. Really dig it. So you have that option. Obviously, righties or lefties can easily engage that. And then you have a really nice flipper. I like it because it protrudes enough. You know, it's not like insane. Pretty thin, low profile in that regard. No jimping on it, not sharp or aggressive. Some flippers, you know, are really painful and it hurts to flip. Not with this. Don't even have to flip the wrist. And that thing will just fly right open. So if you like flippers, again, it's going to be great for that. Boom. You just hit it and it flies. We got those nice bronze bushings down in there. Nice and solid, work really, really well. Something that somebody brought up to me in the comments, and this is why I love I say the family here. I learn stuff from you guys just as much as you guys hopefully learn stuff from me. You know, I love ball bearing deployment. Rocks, we're seeing that a lot from China. We're seeing that a lot with some ZT knives, some Spyderco knives, absolutely. But there are gaps in ball bearing systems and they can get grit in there. So bronze bushings, bronze washers will technically, arguably, possibly be more heavy duty. They may not be quite as smooth, but they might be a little more heavy duty in their deployment and strength. You know, sand and grit wouldn't get in there as easily. So that's something to consider. I didn't really think about that until a viewer commented on that, and I said, hey, that's a great point. But for bronze bushings, I mean, you know, awesome. Zero complaints there. Really good centering. And then lockup is that compression lock that Spyderco is known for. I really like it. Really zero complaints. It's stronger than a liner lock, but think of kind of like almost like a backwards liner lock. Instead of a liner lock being here that you would disengage, it's kind of back here. Now, it's because of design features and different things slightly stronger than that. I wouldn't say it's like way better than a lockback. I would argue lockbacks would be stronger, but you know, it hits about 40% of the spine back there. You just depress it out of the way and then it closes up, and lefties or righties can easily disengage that compression lock. The other aspect with those compression locks is that, as you can see here, you can flip it closed. Now, it does tend to bang up against the stop bar back here, which is not necessarily a bad thing. And then you just have to release the compression lock in time to catch it, which I can't always do. And we'll talk about detent in this point as well. And I would say this is one of the only weaknesses that I see with the design. I purchased one and the detent was so weak, it kind of made me nervous. It kind of scared me that at like the littlest little bump, it was going to pop out. Now this one is better, but it's not as good as a lot of other pocket knives that I own that are manuals. Just as an example here, I have the Manix 2 lightweight. I mean, it's way stronger detent. I have to put a lot more pressure on the blade to get it to swing out. This one, don't have to put a lot of pressure and it's going to open up. So just kind of depends. So I sent that first one back as a defect, got this one. It was stronger, but not by a lot. So this is a weak detent. You can see there just with a little flick, it will open. So some of you may not care, not a big deal. It's not a big deal to me. It's not something that's gonna make me like, oh, I'm gonna get rid of this knife or I'm gonna send it back. I'm definitely keeping this in the collection, but it is my lighter detented knives. And I wanted to point that out. Some people don't like that, some people do. Right, so we're gonna move on to the blade portion here. Now we are looking at CPM S30V steel. Can't go wrong with that type of steel. Love it. And you're getting a full flat grind with almost a Warrenclyffe clip or drop, if you will. Not a clip, but a drop. You guys know what I'm talking about. Going on 5 hours of sleep with a new baby, a month-old baby. So trying to keep all my information in the brain without it falling out the back. So almost Warrenclyffe. So there's not a lot of sweep up. You're not going to get a huge amount of belly, a lot straighter, but there is still a little bit of sweep. You're going to get 0.14 thickness on the back spine, but it's going to go back to a good precise tip there. Really good. So great for opening packaging, precision, that type of thing, penetration, and then slicing capability because of the full flat grind is going to be epic. This thing is an epic slicer. Love the slicing capability. No thumb ramp or anything, no jimping here, and no finger choil. A lot of Spydercos have either large blank portions, large ricassos, or like my loved Mannix 2, it's got a finger choil. Some people just don't like that in their pocket knife. So this one is a knife that doesn't give you that. And I think for a lot of you, you're going to really like that. Those of you particularly who just aren't fans of finger choils on your pocket knives, at 3.48 inches, so almost 3.5 inches, dude, you're getting like a larger cutting edge than most Spydercos. A lot of Spydercos have about that 3 to 2.75 inch cutting edge. You're getting a lot more cutting edge than most other Spydercos. Just more to work with. And then obviously the CPM S30V, great steel, no complaints there. Really going to hold its edge well. Going to be something that is rather rust resistant and on the higher end of edge retention. It's not by any means like ultra steel. Spyderco has all kinds of ultra steels, including like this Maximet version right here. You can get, S35 VN now, lots of other stuff, but for S30V, and Spyderco does a good job with their S30V, it's great. All right, we're kicking it here with the paper clip. Pocket clip, known by Spyderco. They do it on a lot of their stuff. I love it. I have zero complaints with it. Loop over design, really slim, really sleek, slick, and is a little protruding, so it's not going to get caught up on your thicker, looped over, like tactical pants from 511 or just other. I have like pairs of cool pants that they reinforce the lip, and some of my pocket clips literally just do not fit over them. This easily does without creating a bunch of hot spots. It is ambidextrous. You can slip it over. Got a nice lanyard hole there for 550 paracord, and it's going to protrude about 1/4 inch up, so still giving you enough grip to pinch and grab or run your lanyard through, but great. I love the pocket clip, tip up only on this Sliverax. Now to the handle. We're looking at the handle here, carbon fiber G10 inlays, pretty cool. It's not something that's like blowing my mind either way. I'm not like, I'm a G10 guy, and I'm not like, oh, I'm a carbon fiber guy. It's kind of giving you a best of both worlds there. Just hopefully you guys can see that texture. So definitely a little bit heavier grit and texture than you would get on just like smooth, slick carbon fiber, but not overly tractioned like a G10, heavy G10 handle would be. So you're getting kind of the best of both worlds there. That's going to cut down on weight as well. The knife is going to come in at 3.3 ounces for this larger size knife. I really like that. Well under 4 ounces is great, but still giving you steel liners in there. Flow through construction, but you're going to get steel liners on both sides, so that strength, you're not going to lose any strength with that G10 carbon fiber combo. Good standoffs there. So the strength of the knife is really nice and really well done. You're looking at 4.5 inches overall length. So I wear large size gloves, as you guys know. And you're looking at 0.45, so almost 1/2 inch thick. But this thing really disappears in your pocket. And what's really awesome is that this is really locked in. And you can see it's almost kind of like a mild karambit style. Really, really mild, but it reminds me of a karambit. And I've never really... I like the idea of a karambit. I am not like trained in those knives. I don't know how to use them. And in my mind, they're mostly like for taking out a bad guy. And I carry knives for utility purposes. But if you like the idea of those type of combat knives, but you're wanting something that's actually like functional in normal tasks. This thing is super awesome. I mean, I am massively locked in right here. I am not going to slide up and hurt myself if you are using it in harder tasks, God forbid, and I do not recommend doing this, but you know, in some sort of stabbing task, whatever. And then if I go to a reverse grip, like you would hold those type of knives, karambits and you know, combat style, I mean, it feels like that. It feels like those type of knives, but it doesn't have some crazy drop with the handle and the blade, you know, and the blade's like sweeping way down over here, you know, and it's you can stick somebody with it, but you can't really use it for anything else. This is a fully functional EDC, do everything utility blade, but still has that kind of a little bit of a feel to it. And again, even though there's no traction, no, you know, jimping anywhere on the knife, I mean, I am really locked into place. I am not going to accidentally slide up and hurt myself. It feels really good in the hand. It's again a little bit of a drop, so that's just something that you need to consider, and you know, kind of a narrower neck, but I like it. It's different than the majority of my other blades. Just like here as an example, again, the Manix 2 lightweight, very different but very cool. And that's going to lead us into our discussion of price and competitive options. All right, the Sliverax is going to go for about $150 to $160. Now, I will have links in the description below over to Amazon as well as Blade HQ, and those are great places to not only purchase gear from, but it helps support the channel. So I went out and bought this Spyderco. I bought all the knives you're going to see here in this video and with the competitive options, and that is possible by you guys using those hyperlinks. So thank you so much for your support. Regardless if it's the knives you see here today or any other gear, when you guys use those hyperlinks, helps me out and continue to purchase gear and continue to fund the channel. You guys are literally pouring gas into the fuel tank, just like in this car, to get us to the next review. So thank you guys. If this knife connects with you, the Sliverax or another one, thank you for using those hyperlinks. So 150, 160, that's steep. Now it is, you know, a carbon fiber G10, it's S30V CPM, S30V, compression lock. It's made in Taiwan. Spyderco's been doing this a lot lately. Not really sure why they do that. Now, the fit and finish is fantastic. Here is a USA-made Manix 2 lightweight. You can't tell the difference in quality control and fit and finish, okay? So that there's no issue in that regard. But this is a USA-made with the Malamute, I don't know, whatever, type of steel that they have, an upgraded steel. But it's about, I think, like 160, maybe 180. So very competitive, but again, made in the US. Very similar, you know, lines. It's got, you know, a ball bearing locking system, similar size, and on this one, a upgraded, more premium level of steel. And if you go with like their G10 S30V versions, which again would be very similar to this, also made in Colorado, USA made, maybe like $100, maybe $110. And just to give some more perspective here, here's a open assisted mini barrage from Benchmade, S30V steel, CPM S30V steel, axis lock, assisted opening spring, you know, loop over, G10, lots of moving parts is the point. You know, there's lots going into this knife to make it a reality, and that thing's about the same price, about 150, 160 bucks right there. Sure, it's a little more compact, but it's a USA made knife with, in my opinion, a lot more moving things, a lot more things going on in it than what this Spyderco has. And who doesn't like a good dog pile? Just for perspective here, an S30V USA made Kershaw Blur, $65. So we've talked about this with other videos, you know, with Chinese made knives that are like 175, S35 yen, titanium, very similar prices to what, you know, USA made knives are going for. It's not an issue to me. It's just something to point out. And I don't really know Spyderco. I love the fact that they make so many other knives in the US, and I mean, if they could have dropped this to like 130 and, you know, produced it in Taiwan, that would have been great. Get it in some more people's hands, you know, or charge 160 because it's pretty competitive, everything else we're seeing here, and make it in the US instead of shipping it over to Taiwan to have it produced. I don't know. It's just kind of a thing. It's things to think about. It's not a deal breaker by any means. I totally love it. And again, you will not tell the difference. If it said USA on the Sliverax, you wouldn't know that it, you know, I mean, there's no like differences. You're not like, oh man, it's made in the US. I can tell it's made in the US. It's still a fantastic fit and finish, fantastically made, but you can get a lot of US stuff for the exact same price. Oh yeah, I'd say it's that cool. Folks, I'm digging it. The blade shape, the ridiculous cut in, the compression lock, the pocket clip, the weight class, the performance, I mean, everything going for it. Really, the two things that are going to make or break it is the detent for you. Now, thankfully, the second one that I got has a pretty decent detent, but, you know, I can still, again, whip that out really easily. And then, you know, being Taiwanese made at $150, that is a pretty penny when I can get USA made, you know, knives with S30V steel for less, that have a lot of the same features, a lot of the same capabilities. So, I mean, you got to decide that. You got to make that decision as we've looked in this video. But guys, if this design connects with you, if Spyderco connects with you, and you like what you're seeing, I think this is a rockin' blade and is a really, really fun blade to have in the system of giving you like a larger, lightweight, very capable EDC knife. So thank you so much for coming over here today and checking out the channel. I hope this has been entertaining, fun, enjoyable, and informational for you. Check us out on all the relevant social media. That's a great way to see what's up and coming. Please subscribe if you're not a current subscriber. I'd invite you to become part of the GT family, throwing up videos like this every single week. You current subscribers rock. Thank you so much for being part of the family, supporting this channel with your views, with your purchases, through the links and all of that. It's because of you guys that this channel continues to exist. And finally, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. See you out there.